one.
YouTube,
we are live.
Awesome.
What's up?
Everybody just all kinds of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least is
Podcast.
live for audio for the podcast, and this is where we go business bros / business.
And if anybody's watching, you can shout out Business Bros too.
Oh yeah, we'd love to see that on camera hanging out with us.
Send it up.
All right,
Send
here
it
we
to us.
go.
That'd be cool.
All right, we're going 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros.
Love it. Business chick.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Choose
There
a
it
little
is.
different. See, there it is. We're in the podcast studio here in, I can't say sunny National City.
Typically sunny San Diego.
Yeah, typically sunny San Diego. But today it's wet.
It's raining.
It's raining.
Pouring.
We kind of had a late start, but hey, we're here. So we're here with Annie O'Donnell.
Hey, that's
Annie,
me.
tell me where you're from. I mean, like, business-wise.
Okay, San Diego, California is where I'm based out of.
Awesome. Mission Valley
Specifically,
area?
Mission Valley area.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What's the name of the company?
Fairway Independent Mortgage. And we've got several net branches all over the country. I also work out of a branch in Carlsbad.
Oh, so you take drives all the time.
Yeah, I actually live in San Marcos.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. So you made your way down here just for us.
I work out of the Mission Valley office half of the
That's
week. And then
Okay,
half
so
the week
you
I'm on
got to
the road.
make sure that you drive safe when we're done here.
Oh, I am.
Take your time, because you got 2 little babies, right?
That's right.
Tell me about the little babies. What's
I've
up?
got my newest addition is Liam Patrick.
I love the name Liam. That's my son's name too.
I heard.
So-
I actually met him.
You met
I
him?
met his toes. His toes dangling.
Boys, huh?
Yes. So he's so different. I have a little girl too. She's 2 years old, and
Oh.
she's a handful. Her name is Quincy.
Quincy and Liam.
Mhm.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you're a nice little family of 4 now?
Yep.
Nice. Now, okay, tell me about that work-life balance, because I know what it's like raising 2 kids. My kids are about 15 months apart, a little, pretty close in age, just like your kids. Boy, having 2 kids is a handful. Is your daughter out of diapers yet?
No, we're working on it.
See,
She's
so
close.
close. Yeah, so you're close, and just when you thought you were done, here comes number 2.
Yeah.
Oh, how do you balance all that? I mean, you got work, you got kids, you got hubby. How does that work? I mean, how do you do it?
Yeah, great question. How do I do it?
One day at a time knows the answer. Okay, move on. No, I'm just
Yes.
kidding.
One day at a time for sure. A lot of planning, a lot of structure, and a lot of support from the hubby. you
Yeah,
know?
he's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it, right?
Yeah.
He's got to learn to change some diapers,
Oh yeah.
kiss some babies, feed some babies, change some babies.
Luckily, this my 15 month. He's only 2 months. My 2-month-old sleeps all night. He's been sleeping all night
Oh,
since 6
you're
weeks.
lucky.
Yeah, he
That's
sleeps
good.
like 12 hours. But yeah, it does require a lot of energy and attention and love, and it all just comes with planning my day out. I've made it a thing to plan my week every Sunday. That includes meal planning. Otherwise, we're drive-through every day, and we
Yeah.
all feel like crap, and our pants don't fit, and
Energy level low.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that does make a big difference.
yeah,
Scheduling, I mean, we say it all the time, right? If it's not on the schedule,
It doesn't
not
exist.
happening.
it's not happening, right?
Exactly.
Especially with little ones. That's a good habit for the little ones to get into, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
is to understand, this is the time we got to go. And what I found with my kids about, just a little parental advice, since we seem to always give parental advice to other parents. But anyways, my kids would always know when they were with me exactly what we were doing the next day. It's like one of our routines that we go to bed. Okay, remember, tomorrow we got to wake up. We're going to go to Nana's, or we're going to go to the store, or we're going to, whatever it is. They knew. They could recite the whole day. They didn't have a concept of time, but they knew what to expect the next day. And I'm hoping that passes on as they get older and they start to do it themselves.
I love that. I feel like that's a little trick that I use for my daughter to take a nap. Like after you wake up, then we'll watch Lion King,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And then she'll just knock out, put herself to sleep, wake up, Lion King. She's ready for whatever I just,
Yeah, and it works because it's not a chore at that point. They know that in order to get to step C, I need to do step B.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference
Very
in
cool.
not just kids' lives, I mean in our lives too, right? I mean, you would not be productive if you didn't have that schedule.
No, absolutely not. I'd be running around chasing my tail.
Or the kids' tails.
Yeah, or their tails, and sitting there, what am I supposed to do? Yeah.
All right, so walk me through a day. What does one of your days look like?
Okay, so
I mean, I know they're all a little bit different with kids, but in general.
Ideally. So I wake up at 5 o'clock every day, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Hal Elrod. The Morning Miracle. It's an amazing, amazing book. Changed my life. You haven't heard of it?
No, I have not heard of it.
I know what to get you then.
All right.
But you wake up. They have an acronym called SAVERS. They focus on making sure you go to bed on time. You get up, but I get up. My morning routine is get up, go to the gym. While I'm at the gym, I'm listening to a book or a podcast or Business Bros.
To the Business Bros.
Get home.
Thanks for the plug.
Yeah.
It's only like 30 minutes. I only have 30 minutes to work out because I gotta
perfect.
get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta get home, and then when I'm home, the hubby's just getting up, so that's my time to pray, write out my affirmations, journaling. They call it scribing, and just prepare myself mentally for the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, this Business Bro over here is huge on getting your affirmations, getting yourself in the mindset to get going. And as a parent, I mean, just the fact that you could have had a rough night, you could have had, any number of situations with little ones, and the importance of getting your mind right before the day started. I mean, it sets the tone, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been sick for the past couple of days, and this morning I was using those affirmations just to get myself up and going. But once I did, man, changed my whole day, and I've been rocking and rolling and full of energy, even though I'm recovering from a sickness.
Yeah.
It works, bro.
It speeds it up. It speeds up the healing.
It does.
I know it does, yeah.
All right, so what happens after affirmations?
So then I feed the baby, help my hubby with breakfast, get the lunch, whatever he's getting ready, because he takes my daughter to school at 6:30. She's in preschool. She's not really in school, but it's like a preschool.
Yeah.
And he heads to work after that. So it's me and the baby all morning, and then I head into the office. So I get the baby ready. We spend our little one-on-one time. He easily goes right back to sleep. But then I head into the office. 9 o'clock, I'm in the office, and I already have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday already planned out what I'm doing from 9 to 12. And then from 1 to 4, it has to be super structured. Otherwise, my day gets all blown away.
I love people with good schedules. I love schedules. Like, I live and die by my calendar.
Yes.
If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. We already said that. And I literally have it from, waking up at 5:30 and doing my 15 minutes of meditation and affirmations and all that good stuff to, like, 7 o'clock tonight is my karaoke night. Like, literally everything in between is planned out.
Even his fun time, he knows exactly when he's going to bed. He knows exactly when he's getting up. I mean, everything for him is, as tight-knit.
It has to be intentional. It really does. Otherwise, you're just going day by day.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Things won't get done, right? All right. So, being in the mortgage industry, that's a tough business to be in. I mean, the competition is fierce, right? And I'll be honest, it's a lot of it could be male dominated, right?
Absolutely.
So what's your experience been like so far being in the mortgage industry?
I love it. I'm having so much fun. Naturally, I'm a very competitive person anyways, and I grew up kind of like a hard ass, tomboyish. Don't mess with me type,
Yeah.
So
Get stepped on. What's up?
Yeah, and I'm Polynesian, so everybody's scared of the Samoans and Tongans, don't mess with us.
Right?
So sorry to interrupt.
brothers.
So sorry to interrupt, but Jonathan wanted a shout out here. He says, that's my homegirl right there, future 1% originator.
What's up, Fisher?
What up?
Toko Miko.
What? I don't even know what that means, but he knows. He knows.
He knows.
Yeah, he knows what it is.
Yeah, see, even this business bro doesn't know, but we got invited to Fisher's Booze Over Business, Fisher and Pancho's show.
That's amazing.
So we're doing that on the 13th, by the way. So
I saw that.
That's
threw it
awesome.
on the calendar. So that's coming up here soon. So shout out to Fish and Pancho.
Don't get too wasted.
No. And look, it's funny because at first he said it was going to be at 2:00, but we have a 4:00 podcast. I was like, oh, it's going to be tight. Then he sent another message. He's like, can we make it 6? I was like, yes, we can. 6 is a lot better.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Okay. So future 1%er, you're going to have to tell me about that.
Okay.
All right. Because
1% originator.
1% originator. Okay. What is that?
I mean, there's a million loan officers out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, there's very few people that you can click with that have the same mindset as you, goal driven and just structured and just
caring about a client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact that Jonathan is gonna be that 1% in as far as top real estate agents go. And you are who you hang out with,
Absolutely.
And same as me, you know.
Yep.
I'm only 1 year into originating full
time.
Yeah, since December 2017 to 2018.
Man,
full 1 year.
So you spent 1 year, but you were pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a tough one. That's impressive.
That's just kudos to you. That's amazing,
dude. And pushing through.
I don't know. It's just. I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay.
So humble.
Yeah, no,
we applaud you and we praise you because we know. I mean, I'm sitting here with a cold and like being the biggest baby in the world, but we know that you ladies just rock it. Like no matter what, give me some morning sickness, give me some hormones, give me carrying a 9-pound baby in my belly. I don't care what you got, throw it at me. And I can handle it.
And you still rock
I did have a 9-pound baby, by the way.
That was not metaphorical.
9 pounds.
What a guess.
5 ounces.
What a guess.
I don't know how I did it. It was the grace of God. It's a mindset. Mindset. I was very fortunate that I didn't get any morning sickness. Everything was in my favor.
All right, tell me some stories, and I want to hear some stories. Tell me about your recent Facebook post. You had quite a struggle on a file, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that struggle. What happened?
Okay, so you're talking about the one yesterday, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you got a better story.
They have crazy stories every day. Goodness. But yeah, that's a good story because we were literally supposed to close today on an escrow, a client buying his very first home. And when you're buying your first home, buying a home is emotional anyways.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
Whether it's your first, second, third, fourth. But your first one, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Stressful, nerve-wracking, everything. All in one.
But anyways, we came to close and it came to light that the HOA company provided an itemized budget. It took them forever to provide, by the way. It was a 17-day escrow.
Mm-hmm.
It took them forever to provide, and their itemized budget. So this is like a learning lesson for everybody. Anytime you put less than 10% down on a condo, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac requires that the condo become warrantable. And in order for the condo to be warrantable, you have to provide a budget. So every HOA has a budget, and their itemized budget has to have at least a 10% reserve, set
the
aside.
HOA has to have the reserve.
Correct.
Right.
And that's not abnormal. Every HOA has reserve set aside according to the Code of Homeowners Association for Southern California.
Actually, they want to make sure they have liquid cash.
Actually.
Yeah, liquid cash to fix things that come up. Of course.
So their reserves showed $0.
That's not a good way to function.
Yeah. Well, and we know it's not right. Like, that can't be right. So we called it out to them. They found out that, okay, yeah, we do need to fix it. It was a mistake. And it's just, to get to the person who's in charge of that, because there's ladders
Please
you have
hold.
to go through.
Please hold.
Call
Please
customer
hold.
service. Please hold. We'll get you to the HOA. So there's so many people that you have to go through to get to the person who can actually change it. Corporate. Yeah.
That's what the ladder's for.
It took literally, it was an all day thing, and finally got through to the right people, and they're working on fixing their budget. and because it has to be fixed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the HOA management manager, who would be the person to fix that, blew everybody off. You know, I don't know. I think he knew that something was wrong. Maybe he messed up and
didn't want to be accountable for it.
Exactly.
But see, this is one of those stories where, you know, the home buying process, when you look at it from the outside looking in, is a smooth process. I find a home, I put an offer in, we negotiate, and we close. It's done. Right? But there's so many, and this is one of those things, right? That when you start to value yourself, when you start to present yourself to a client, these are some of those unique selling propositions where they need to understand there's a lot of hands in this cookie jar. There's a lot of people that are involved in this transaction. I mean, these people in corporate have no real connection to this transaction. I mean, they don't know the buyer. They don't know the seller. They don't know anything about it. But what's going on in the transaction still is applicable to you being able to close. Mm-hmm. So, you know, all these phone calls, these 5-hour waits on hold, this digging deeper and deeper and trying to get to the right person, the seller has no idea of the stuff going on. They're just trying to get you to, when am I going to close?
Right.
When am I going to close?
Right.
And you got to kind of, you know, it's one of those where you need to unplug yourself emotionally from the stress of finding that one little piece with Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We're working on it, and you know they're not going to understand. So how do you present that to a seller? Or to a buyer? How do you tell them, look, we're working on it. This is what's going on. We're working on our best interest. We were supposed to close today, but this and this and this happened. You know, and it's stressful. I mean, couple that with, you know, I mean, you're not pregnant now, but couple that with, that's one transaction, one story. I'm sure you have multiple stories like that. I mean, how do you, you said a little bit on mindset, but how do you flip the switch? How do you go from stressful environment to now I need to talk to the client, and I can't show the client how stressful this was because they're already stressed enough.
Right. Great question. Oh my gosh. So, you know, I think naturally when you're in a position like myself, you know, and you're stressed out, and I try not to be stressed out, but you know, we're human.
Yeah.
You don't want to stress the other parties involved. So you got to be cool. You got to keep your mind straight and just look at facts and be able to present it just as facts. You know, you're not presenting drama. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's all going to be drama and everybody's going to be all emotional. So I think the best way for me, like, it's communication. You have to have communication. The moment something is wrong, you got to pick up the phone and be able and have the audacity, like the courage to tell someone, hey, I don't have good news, but this is what's happening. Right. And then this is what this is the solution. Right. And then get them on board to all work towards the common solution.
Right. Know? Don't be an ostrich. Don't stick your head in the sand.
Exactly.
Right?
So I called the buyer. Fun fact, Jonathan Fisher is the selling agent.
Oh, see? So we're working together already.
Yeah, it's our clients that we're working on, and I called the listing agent. Listing agent got the sellers involved. So we're all working together as, you know, for a common result.
Yeah, we're trying to get this thing closed, right? We're working together because the seller wants to sell the property, the buyer wants to buy the property. We're just trying to tie up these loose ends.
Yes, and it's just being able to provide that communication right away. The moment something comes up, you have to be able to provide communication right away. Otherwise, no communication creates like a negative space. You know, people stress over like, I haven't heard anything. Yeah. You know.
You know, it's funny because I'm glad you brought up the communication. National Association of Realtors did a survey and contacted people who've recently sold, you know, closed transactions. And one of the biggest complaints that they got was my agent didn't communicate with me enough. Right. And that's huge. How do you not, you know, reach out? And I think you're right. I think it has to do with that fear. I don't want to give good news, or I don't want to give bad news. Yeah. I only want to give good news. But there's always good days and bad days throughout the transaction. Yeah. And I think having the gall to pick up the phone and just give a summary of the day. It's if you present it as bad news, well then yeah, it's going to be bad news. But if you're just presenting it as this is where we're at, this is what we're doing, the seller and the buyer are going to be much more appreciative of you because they're not guessing. When you leave it up to the imagination, it's like this. When you watch a scary movie, right? If you think back when you were a kid and you ever watched a scary movie and you were the type of person who covered their eyes when the scene came, you probably were much more scared than if you kept your eyes open.
Right.
Why? Because when you close your eyes and you didn't actually see what happens, you don't know. Your imagination takes over. Your imagination starts making up, what could happen or the way it should have looked what's going on. And the same thing happens with their buyers and sellers. If you don't keep them in the loop, their imagination takes over and they think you're golfing, you're on vacation, you're doing everything other than working on the deal that I hired you to work on.
Right.
And so you look bad by not presenting the information rather than presenting the information and letting the judgment be made on just the progress of where we're at.
Right. It's just the facts. I love that. Yep. I think naturally as human beings, we just get caught up in our own fears. We start to paint this picture in our mind. If I call them and tell them, oh my gosh, we're not closing tomorrow, they're going to, blow up or whatever the fear is. I don't know.
I love that saying. But did you die though? Right. I love that one. But did you die though? You called them, but did you die though? Right. But I mean, seriously, what are you afraid of? You didn't die. You're not going to die. This is just one step in the process.
And to be successful in this industry, you have to be fearless. The fearless agent. Look at that. You cannot be afraid to pick up the phone and deliver bad news, good news, any news, whatever news. You just have to do it. It's your job.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's like 6 shout outs to Jonathan on this episode.
So when's his birthday?
That was pretty great. Right? Love you, Jonathan, man.
Yeah. He's gonna have to take us out to lunch. No, yeah, it's definitely huge. Being able to communicate, having the understanding that it is that vitally important. That just the fact that you pick up the phone, even if you have no news, I think that's one of those things where people just kind of underestimate. I have no news, so I'm not going to say anything or not going to talk about it at all because there's nothing to say. Well, that's not what your client. You got to put yourself in the perspective of the client. You just really have to.
Yeah.
You would want to know, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine yourself in a waiting room and someone you really care about is in the operating table. Yeah. And you're sitting there and you're waiting and hours and 2 hours and 3 hours go by and you hear nothing. You start thinking the worst. Mm-hmm. And they could have just gone in for like tonsil surgery. It doesn't matter. You want the update, even if it's, they're still in surgery. Everything looks good. We're still waiting on, or we're waiting for the surgeon to come out, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is.
Absolutely.
Follow up.
Yeah.
Don't let your client's imagination run wild because it'll run in the negative direction because we're all human.
Exactly. And I personally think it all comes down to integrity. Everybody has a definition of integrity, their own definition. But personally, my own definition is doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And the moment that you're not able to do what you said you're going to do when you said you're going to do it, I have to communicate, hey, this is not going to happen because blah, 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 or whatever. But just being able to communicate that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, my old man, my pops, he has this whole creed. And remind me, I'll give you a bookmark. That has the whole creed about what personal integrity is. And he worked on it for a long time. It's kind of it's really, really good. But I had my own personal definition too. And it was doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If nobody's paying attention to you, you can easily just kind of like get away with it or do something else. Nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Nobody sees you. But having the integrity means that you do the right thing even when nobody's looking. Mm-hmm. Even when there's nothing going to happen to you. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
So now I see why you're going to be one of those 1%ers. You're going to be the top 1%, right? That's where the production comes in. And honestly, that's what makes you referable, right? If you are putting out a good experience for your client, if they know that, look, this stuff that happens behind the scenes, they don't know about because you didn't communicate it to them. But if you're communicating to your client every single day and you're telling them, look, this is what happened on your file, this is what we did, this is the solution we're shooting for, this is how far we got, we expect to have a solution this date. Now they're in contact with you every day. They know how hard you're working for them. They know that the commission that you earned has been earned, not just given.
Right.
They understand that, and since you've brought them so much value, when the deal closes and they have a friend that needs the same situation, guess who they're going to call? That's right, because she can do anymortgage.com.
Anytime.
But it's the experience, right? It's the experience that you're providing.
I'm all about experience. Absolutely. Experience, service, you know, and you want to make sure that you're getting a good deal too. So.
Oh, absolutely. Someone who actually takes the time to crunch some numbers, right?
For sure.
All right. So we haven't done this in a while because it's been most of the real estate community, but we got people that listen that aren't really real estate people. So let's say you have somebody who is interested in buying something, right? And they need to get pre-qualified. What's the process?
So the process right away, you know, because I have a little two babies, you know, I have a mobile app. So I leverage technology with my services. So the services that technology can handle to help speed up the process, because I like things really, really fast. Who doesn't? I share my mobile app with them right away so that they can complete a 5-10 minute application. Once the application's done, we set up a time to go through it. I get to know their goals, their dreams. What are they looking to do? What's their timeline? How can I help them? Draw up a goal for them. I really enjoy that, by the way, putting together goals with people and meeting it. But we go through the application. They submit all of their documents. Once their documents are in,
what kind of documents are we looking at?
We're looking at basic documentation to get a pre-approval. You need at least depending on how you're employed, but your typical W-2 waged employee borrower will have 30 days worth of pay stubs, 2 years W-2s, 2 years tax returns for the most recent 2 years that you've filed, the most recent 2 months worth of bank statements, and a copy of your driver's license so we know it's you that's applying for the loan. And that's pretty basic.
Yeah, I like how you said the 30 days of pay stubs, because people get paid weekly, people get paid bi-weekly. Some people like teachers only get paid once a month.
Exactly.
So you need the last 30 days pay stub.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So somebody gathers that information with you, they get to upload them into an app, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Really cool.
That's
that makes
easy.
it super easy. Yeah, snap a picture and upload it.
Exactly. And it's built into the app so that when they upload it, it goes directly to their file.
Oh, that's such beauty, right? Because being organized is key.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go to the Xerox machine, make copies. It's just there.
It's so easy. It's like convenient. Who faxes anymore?
Yeah.
You know, I asked a 19-year-old who's buying a house.
Can you fax it?
You could either fax, email, or upload it through the app. What's fax? I was laughing.
Did he seriously ask that?
What's a
Oh
fax?
my God.
It's like a female fox.
Oh, what the fax?
Oh, what the fax?
Oh, never mind.
Never mind. Just
Ignore that.
Upload it to
Yeah.
the app. You're good. 19 though. That's good.
Yeah.
That was his age when we bought our first place.
Truth.
So that's amazing.
amazing.
Step in the right direction.
Yes.
For sure.
Starting early.
So documents come in.
Yes, documents come in. I have my team submit it to our we have a pre-approval desk, and that way, a lot of things happen, but we get the file pre-approved, issue a pre-approval letter, schedule an appointment to meet with the clients and go through the pre-approval letter. It's super important to me that they understand the entire pre-approval process. What the pre-approval letter means, payments, options, loan options, different ways to structure their loans, and then they can literally go out shopping for a house.
So let me drill down a little bit on the pre-approval, because we're heading into a buyer's market, which means we got a lot of buyers who are going to be kind of shopping, really picky. They don't have to buy type position. And so one of the things that we always talk about when we're coaching agents is make sure that your lender pre-approves them, so that the only thing we really need to do when they get into escrow is appraise the property.
Yes.
So when you're talking pre-approval, are you talking like you pull credit, you verify employment, you do all that stuff ahead of time?
Correct. So the whole pre-approval, by the way, when I say pre-approval, an actual underwriter is actually looking at the file. So the underwriter already issues a pre-approval with underwriting conditions, so that when I sit down with the client, we're already working on those conditions while they're out shopping. And then when they do get into escrow, we're only subject to escrow conditions, right?
Perfect.
Which means an appraisal, your regular escrow conditions, earnest money and all that stuff in escrow already. Is that?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, no, because real estate agents out there, by the way, not every lender, not every loan officer is made the same. You might get a pre-qualification letter that says, hey, yeah, they got money in the bank. Yeah, they're good. Here's a letter. But it's still subject to so many things. You're going to see that there's subject tos, or there's conditions, or there's whatever contingencies in their pre-qualification letter that they still need to verify. That's not a loan officer that you want to be working with that hasn't completely done their job. That's kind of the shortcut way out. And the problem with that is you can get into escrow and everything looks good, and then they don't qualify, right? And then you look like a bad agent because you're working with somebody who didn't do the necessary steps ahead of time. And that's why I wanted to make sure I drilled down. That's why you're going to be a 1%er, by the way. Another reason is because you're doing the work ahead of time. It takes a little more, right? Creating that file is extra work. I mean, you kind of, well, there's other things that happen. You kind of blew by it, but those other things that happen are still work. And this client hasn't even been in escrow yet. They haven't even got to that process of even looking at houses, but you're doing the work ahead of time so that everything that happens going forward is smooth.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And that's what allows our clients to be able to put aggressive offers, when we needed them, when we were in a seller's market. We needed offers that were as good as cash.
Right.
So we needed offers that can close in 8 to 10 days. And that's what helps when the underwriters have already reviewed it. We've already submitted conditions and all that fun stuff pending the appraisal and escrow conditions.
See, beautiful. That's how we do it. That's how we roll.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done. That's what happens when you go with any mortgage. All right, Annie. So we're rounding the bed on time. Thanks, by the way, for all that, because I was worried about drilling down a little bit with you, but you played it flawlessly. So cool. I threw some little technical stuff at you, and you just said, "Here, take that," backhanded it right back at me. So I love it. That's why, hey, Mr. Fisher, you're working with a good one here. All right. So let's have you address the Facebook people or the podcast people. How do we get in contact with you if we want to work with one of those 1%ers?
Podcast people, you have to work with a 1%er. If you want to save as much money as possible, those are the kind of people you want to hire. But you can call me, text me, email me, Facebook me. I'm everywhere.
What's the phone number?
619-797-6555.
And we got your information right down here if you want to point at it.
Go, boop. There it is.
Down there.
Down there.
No, right there.
Right there. Over there. Left, right, up, down. No, right there. Cool. And then who do you think would be an awesome guest host to be on the podcast with me?
I think an awesome guest would be my favorite financial advisor, Tyler Davis.
What up, Tyler?
Tyler, next on the show.
Next on the show. So we got to get him booked up. So here's what's going to happen. Because he's probably not watching the Facebook Live.
It's a gal.
Oh, she?
Yes.
Oh, business chicks.
That's right.
All right, so I don't know if she's watching. She might not be. If she is, then we blew our cover. But if she's not, tell her she got tagged on the podcast, but don't tell her it's at the end, so she has to listen to the whole thing.
Okay.
Cool?
I will.
And then we'll let her know that, hey, we want to get you on the podcast. So once you tag her, let me know when you tag her, and then I'll do my thing and get her on the show too.
For sure.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
she'll rock this.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming out, especially being as far as you did. Make sure you drive safe. Thanks
for having me.
Yeah.
Of
course. And by the way, if any of you guys ever do want to be on the show, make sure you reach out to me, Hernan at csfirst.com. For any of your insurance needs, James at csfirst.com. Or you can follow us on our social at Business Bros Pod. Thanks again for being on the show, Annie.
Thank you.
That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
And I'm out. Fun stuff, right?
Yeah, that was super fun.
What up, Facebook? Thanks for being live. We love you guys.